Nvidia getting into desktop. So uh, uh, Nvidia is not new to creating devices. In fact, nearly 15, 20 years ago, even when I was at AMD, they did a foldable chip for WinRT. It was ARM based, had a GPU on it, along with Qualcomm and Texas Instruments. And then they've also done these gigantic desk side developer platforms as well. I believe it was a desk side DGX. It was a monster though. And what they introduced at the show was something called Project Digits. Think of it as a very compact desktop. And not too many things surprise me, but this one did. I knew because people are telling me, not Nvidia but everybody else, that they're going to be bringing out a notebook processor that will have devices in it the first half 26. So it relates to it being I like to call it a pipe cleaner. I really find this fascinating. The size of it is crazy. I mean, it's literally like this big.
Mac Mini. It's like a Mac Mini.
Yeah, and it just has the coolest looking design too. It looks like it fits in a 1U rack. Obviously, it doesn't, but that's the that's the feeling that you get. It has a new chip called the GB10, not to be confused with the GB100, and GB is Grace Blackwell. But they partnered with MediaTek to make this happen, and I think they had to partner with MediaTek because low power is really not what Nvidia is great at, right? And the ability to churn and burn an SoC in very quick time. We've seen this with Qualcomm. Their ability to churn out something so quickly is absolutely amazing. And the performance is really, we really don't have a sense, even though we know it has 20 ARM cores. And this is the new Blackhawk core that I wrote about last year, but we do know it's AI performance, okay, which are just absolutely kind of mind blowing. I think it's half of the performance of Ada out there at 500 teraflops, which is seriously, and that's FP4 performance, which is absolutely insane. So priced at $3,000, available May of 2025. In the limited time that I had to talk with Jensen, I think the first thing I asked him is, "Hey, can I get Windows on this thing?" And I'll note that there was a lot of confusion based on what Jensen said. So this ships with Linux and not Windows. And I think when he talked about this on stage, he did not get his message across very well. And you saw Satya Nadella weigh in, as we saw Pavin on X trying to clarify what was going on here. But essentially, Windows has a Linux subsystem. And the TLDR is all the great software that you can run on digits, because it comes with the full NVIDIA stack, you can run on Windows in what's called WS and that is it. It is not, NVIDIA is not abandoning Windows and moving everything to Linux, but their software stack, their entire software stack is Linux optimized because it's for the data center.
And there you have it. I mean, I think some of it's pretty provocative, Pat. And, I am with you. I don't see any massive immediate changes. Kind of like I say, the end of enterprise SaaS is going to lead to these deprecated services and databases and abstractions and new toys. There might be a future in which a Linux kernel and a chat interface is all you really get when you open the lid. Because you certainly aren't going to see apps on your phone the same way in the long term. If agents actually do what they're supposed to do, I mean, that's the bottom line. If they actually do what they're supposed to do, So it's kind of funny because all these companies are sort of in conflict with themselves. It's like they're creating their own demise, but at the same time, if they don't, they're going to miss the trend and become the Kodaks and Blackberries of the next era of, pundit stupidity. Anyway, I think you hit that one pretty good. I don't have a lot to add to it. I did like the launch. I thought it was cool how he kind of came out and took the big GB box and made it small. I think the way he told the story, I think the idea of having a high-powered AI machine at your desktop for developers, super, super duper cool. I do want to just say before we leave the topic of Nvidia and CES that I did find it particularly funny that the CEO of CES kept calling it Nvidia. The most
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up.
Yeah,
it's Gary Shapiro.
Yeah, the most consequential company of our time, Nvidia. All right, I'm not going to say whether that really bothers me or not. I'm just going to say that if it is the most consequential company of its time, we should learn how to say its name. So for everyone out there that's listening, that's been unsure of how to say it, Pat, how do you say it?
Nvidia.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it wrong, so I put it back in your lap.